Hello students, welcome to X School. I hope you guys are doing well and taking care of your health as well. I'm your Kasturika Ma'am and I will be teaching you English for both 9 and 10 standard. Alright, now as you can see it from the thumbnail itself, today we are going to discuss about one of the most important chapters from your textbook, from your prescribed syllabus, from your prescribed syllabus of your 10th standard. Alright, prescribed syllabus of 10th standard, that is the what is the important chapter? It is a letter to God, and it's the first chapter, right? It's the first chapter, right? So in this class, all right, in this class, what we are going to discuss, all right, what are we going to discuss is, all right, so we are going to discuss about the basic ideas regarding this chapter. I mean, what's this entire chapter about, and what are the lessons, or what are the moral lessons that you are going to learn from this specific chapter, and at the same time, okay, we will dive into the deeper analysis of the characters of this special chapters. So in this case, see, the thing is about this chapter, all right, about this chapter, I mean, যিটো a letter to God যিটো তোমালোকৰ পাঠ হয়, ঠিক আছে, এই পাঠটো তোমালোকৰ specific কি thing হয় যে ইয়াৰ পৰা তোমালোকৰ কি হয় character analysis, all right, in a moment of deep contemplation, eventually you will realize that you should have the very clear idea about this chapter. You should have the very clear idea regarding the characters, all right. If you get, like, if you understood about the specific characters, I mean the character of Lencho, who's the protagonist here, right, who's the protagonist here, definitely you will able to understand this chapter more, and eventually you will be able to answer the questions, anything related to Lencho, anything related to the postmaster. I mean, I'm talking about the basic characters of these chapters, of this chapter, all right. So we are in this class, we are also going to discuss about the characters, and at the same time, as you can see it from the thumbnail itself, in this class we are also going to discuss about the most important questions, from this specific chapter, and not only the textual questions, and at the same time the most important PYQs as well. PYQs, it means the previous year questions, right? So so that eventually you will be able to, you are preparing yourself for boards. It's not like that. See, the thing is, one thing I want you to remind, one I think that I want you to remind, all right, that is, as you are heading towards your 10th boards, all right, as you people are, you guys are heading towards your 10th boards, so you have to be very serious from the very beginning of this session, all right. You have to be very serious from the very beginning of this session, and in the throughout, it's the very first class of my lecture series today, not only today but eventually, eventually, okay, in the upcoming days, all right, eventually in upcoming days we are going to provide more classes like this pattern. We are going to discuss about the PYQs, and we are going to discuss about the basic ideas, the themes, and MCQs on each and every specific chapters from your English textbook. And this is going to be a series, so this is the first class from this series sections, from this YouTube series sections, where you will eventually get the clear idea, the detailed summary and analysis of this specific chapters, and at the same time we are going to analyze the thing that you should keep in mind, keep it to your mind, keep it in your mind while reading a specific chapters. What are the basic things that you have to remember about the specific chapter and the characters, and at the same time the MCQs, including the MCQs, and also the important question answers, not only the textual question answers but also the like PYQs. All right, clear? Am I audible? All right, let's check it out. How many of you are there in the class? If you are present and you are listening to my class, then please say hi. Please say hi. Yes, someone just told me, okay, 12th guy here, I don't think it is necessary to log in from the first day of 10th. Last 3 months of study is enough. Okay, okay, I know whoever this guy is, but the thing is, as for you, last 3 months of study is enough, but You know one thing, I don't know what's your name, is it Arus or something like that. This, if it's enough for you, then it's totally fine. See, the thing is, for my 10th, from my experience, as I have to share my experience with you, this is the same attitude of mine. All right, it was the same attitude of mine that I'm going to going deeper analysis, or I'm going to study on before, like only for the 3 months or something like that. But that's not enough. Okay, that's not enough, because you have revision series, you have test papers to solve, you have the grammar portions. Nowadays, everything that you can see, I mean, I'm talking about the majority of the students, while they look at the question papers, and they eventually see one kind of a complex question, they eventually like going to blame the teachers, or like my syllabus is not clear, it's sometimes this question is out of the syllabus or something like that. Hence, this 3 months of strategy won't going to give you the result. Okay, in my case, I did the same, but somehow it didn't work. All right, I got less marks, up to my comparing to my expectations. But in 12th, as you are 12th guy, what is the suggestion that I'm going to provide you? That uh, yes, definitely, I'm going to provide you important notes. All right, I'm going to provide you. Hi. Okay, okay, you got 95%. That's fine. It's not about the percentage, but in that case, the thing is, it's not about the 3 months. I suggest you to read, try to maintain a kind of a proper schedule. All right, proper schedule for your 10th boards. All right, it's not only that I'm going to cover the entire syllabus like the 3 months. Within this 3 months, that's not strategy that eventually going to work. If you okay, the guys who are at 10th, okay, I'm at the same time, the students who are right now at 10th standard, the thing is, if you really want to study good marks, then your potentiality matters, and I want you to be consistent. All right, that consistency matters, and your constant effort matters, and that is the discipline that you need to follow throughout your entire 10th board journey. All right, the students, okay, who want to secure good marks and who want a good percentage, all right, they are not going to like depend on those 3 months strategy only. You have to be very prepare yourself from the very beginning. You have to prepare yourself from the very beginning itself. Just try to maintain a specific schedule, and hence, for if you really want to go for the only 3 month strategy, then definitely it will pressurize you. All right, eventually it will pressurize you to to make a lot of efforts. But in case if you do it in the from the very first day, from the very beginning of this session, then definitely the pressure will be less. You will eventually have the time to solve the other questions of each and every subject, so that you are revising at the same time, you are practicing the mock test, you are practicing the test series and everything. Eventually you will have the time management, and eventually you are going to utilize your time in the same way. But this 3 month strategy won't going to will not going to work. Okay, those who is commenting like 95%, that's fine, I'm appreciating you. But 12 guy here, this not necessary, don't say that. Don't say that. Okay, don't say that. Because you have grammar sections. Yes, that's what, Arush, I'm talking about. This study from the, but not like 13 hours a day. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the 13 hours a day. See, the thing is, basic things is, কিছুমানে কয় যে মই দিনটো মই মেট্ৰিকত 13 ঘণ্টা পঢ়ি ভাল ৰিজাল্ট কৰিছিলো. I am not saying like that. সেইটো একেবাৰে মিছা কথা কোনোবাই কৰে, that's fine. But the thing is, সেই 13 ঘণ্টা পঢ়িবলগীয়া কিয় হ'ল? আগৰ পৰা পঢ়া নাছিল কাৰণে 13 ঘণ্টা পঢ়িবলগীয়া হ'ল, ৰাইট? মই কৈছো যে ষ্টাৰ্টিঙৰ পৰা তোমালোকে ডেইলি হ'লে 2 ঘণ্টা 3 ঘণ্টাকে পঢ়ি যাবা। সেই 2 ঘণ্টা 3 ঘণ্টা যেতিয়া তোমালোকে ষ্ট্ৰেটেজিটো ধুনীয়াকে বনাই যাবা ন, তেনেহ'লে তোমালোকৰ নিজৰ ওপৰত প্ৰেছাৰ কম কৰিব। কাৰণ তোমালোকে ইংলিছে পঢ়িবা, মেথছে পঢ়িবা, কিছুমানৰ এডভান্স মেথছ থাকে, সেবাৰ কথা কৈছো, কিমান কিমান কেইটা ছাবজেক্ট একেলগে পঢ়িবা। গোটেইকেইটা ছাবজেক্ট তোমালোকে ৰিভাইজ নোটছৰ পৰা গোটেইখিনি বস্তু কভাৰ আপ কৰিব লাগিবতো, isn't it? That's it. But you said, but you are specific here only. You are specific here only that 5 hours a day for the first time, 7 months. That's the thing. Okay. You should be precise. You say that you did study a bit from the start, but not like 13 hours a day. And I'm not talking about you have to study like 13 hours a day. All right, I said you have to maintain consistency, you have to be very consistent, you have to follow a disciplined schedule, you have to be very disciplined about your study hours. All right, you have to study regularly. I'm not talking about you have to study 13 hours a day, but when you study regularly, eventually the pressure will be less. Then you don't have to pressurize yourself to completing your entire syllabus within 3 months. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, let's begin the class anyway. See, the first thing is a letter to God by Gregorio Lopez Fuentes. All right, it's a poignant story that explores the intersection of extreme faith. Now, whenever you get questions like what is the chapter is about, you may get these very questions. Nowadays, people give you, examiners, the people who are at authority, who set the question papers, they ask this kind of questions about the moral lessons that you are getting from this entire chapter. All right. सो बेसिकली क्या होता है, आप लोगों को ये पूछा जाता है कि इससे आप लोगों ने क्या सीखा इस सेक्टर से, कुछ मॉरल बेस्ड आपके एनालिसिस बेस्ड कुछ क्वेश्चंस मतलब सवाल आपको पूछा जाता है. तो द वे यू हैव टू नाउ जस्ट गो थ्रू दिस लाइन. ऑल राइट, go through this line. See, the thing is, so basically, it's a poignant story that explores the intersection of extreme faith. Okay, it talks about the extreme faith and the irony of human nature. And this is the very common questions. Okay, what is the irony of human nature? If we talk about irony of human nature, all right, irony of human nature. Eventually, we will get to learn about the irony of human nature from this very chapter. All right, what is the irony of human nature? Human beings are so selfish. All right, okay, somewhere we are not grateful. Okay, the way we are not grateful, whatever we just receive throughout our entire life, we are not grateful for each and everything that we have. All right, that's the basic irony of human nature, and the unexpected ways kindness manifests set against a rural backdrop. And definitely it's a kind of a rural backdrop. Why it is set against a rural backdrop? Because it's the story about a like common peasant. All right, common peasant, a simple person, that is Lancho. Okay, Lancho. All right, and it's a master class in situational irony. All right, that's the specific things, and these are the some of the lines that you can use. Okay, you may use while writing your answers. I mean, what is the story is about? It's the story. Okay, it's about the story that eventually explores the intersection of extreme faith. Okay, how much extreme faith will lead, will lead to a conclusion. What is the outcome of the extreme faith? Okay, that's what we are going to learn from this entire chapter. And at the same time, the irony of human nature and the unexpected ways kindness manifest. All right. Okay. Okay, someone says, okay, my name is Kasturika. All right. Hello, Madhuraj. Hello. My name is Kasturika. Thank you. Okay, just Arush. Okay, try to. It's fine, Arush. And wish you the best as well, Arush. Okay. Okay. 12 guy, maybe if you are from CBSE, definitely it's not, but maybe your result is here, I guess so, but it's not. And all the best for your 12th. Okay, Arush? All the best for your future. Okay. Definitely, you will get important notes, all right? You will eventually get the important notes. In this class, we are going to discuss about the important notes from this chapters as well. Okay, so I want you to be here till the end of the class. All right. See, the thing is detailed summary. Let's discuss about. We are not, in this class, we are not going through the entire, line by line details of this entire chapter. But definitely, I am going to discuss what are the important factors that you need to remember about this chapter. Okay, the specific section. Okay, the specific section that you have to remember, while preparing the question answers from this specific chapter. All right, so the story introduces Lancho. Okay, it's about it, eventually the story revolves around Lancho. Okay. And who was Lencho? He's a hardworking farmer whose life, okay, whose life revolves around his cornfield. Definitely, cornfield. His entire, livelihood eventually depend upon his cornfield because he's a farmer, and eventually, he's dependent on his cornfield because he got his entire earnings from his field, right? So he's quite very like possessive at the same time in hopeful for his cornfield. Okay, so he's anticipating a much needed downpour. That's the synonym of rain. Okay, that's the synonym of rain. All right, and he is anticipating a much needed downpour to ensure a successful harvest. From the very beginning of this chapter, that is what you are going to learn this, because here we are going to learn about a farmer whose name was Lencho, and he is a very hardworking farmer, and his entire life, revolves around his cornfield, and revolves around his cornfield, and he is anticipating a much needed downpour to ensure a successful harvest. All right, on the very first of pages, that's all about the very first page. Then the hope and the disaster. Here it comes, the hope. How eventually his hope just turned into disaster. All right, how his hope just turns into disaster. See, the thing is, the rain finally arrives at the way he had anticipated. In the same way he just manifested it, and eventually the rain finally arrives, and Lencho views the droplets as a new coins. Okay, his droplets, he eventually considered, and he started naming those droplets of rain. All right, it's like the coin for him, because by naming him, not him exactly, by naming those droplets, those raindrops as coins, what was his trying to suggest? Okay, why he refer why he referred those raindrops as coins, because is that those raindrops were that precious for him, because somehow his entire livelihood, or his entire life revolves around his cornfield, and the raindrops are very necessary for his harvest. All right, hence the moment he anticipated raining, and it happened in the same way, and hence he referred those raindrops as what? As a like coins. Like, it means that it's that precious for him, right? Then see, however, it started going very smooth. Okay, the entire story, it's just going so smooth, and eventually that happened. Something bad happened at that very moment. What bad happened? See, however, the joy is short-lived, as the rain turns into a devastating hailstorm. All right, the rain eventually, okay, suddenly the rain turns into a devastating hailstorm, and within an hour, his entire crop is destroyed, leaving the field looking as if it were covered in salt. Because the entire those hailstorm covered his entire field. Somewhere his crops were destroyed, and eventually his hopes somewhere destroyed. Okay, nowadays he is going to starve. Now he is just going to starve. Okay, he is going to starve somewhere, somehow, you know out of a blue, gloomy days arrived. Okay, out of a blue, gloomy days arrived. Okay. Okay, hello Ananya, hello Anaya, sorry, hello Anaya. Okay, hello Anaya, how are you all? How are you all? Okay, then see what happened. Then the unwavering faith. That's the basic thing, that basic important thing that you have to remember while reading this chapter. Eventually, how his faith, utmost faith, like blind faith, you can say. All right, we are going to learn about his blind faith. All right, the utmost faith of Lencho towards God. See, the thing is, despite that catastrophe, all right, Lencho's faith in God remains unshaken. Remains unshaken. He is just quite devoted to God. All right, the only spirit the only energy that he believes is God. All right. So somehow he believes that no one dies of hunger. So no one dies of hunger when God is watching. All right. Now somehow he has that utmost faith in God that now, right now, as you know, out of a blue, his entire crops were, like destroyed, and he is now he now he has no way to survive. How he is going to serve for his family, and somehow he is just, and now he is going to starve. How his the exact one question that continuously clicking onto his head was that now how he is going to look after his family, as his entire life revolves around those cornfields, and that hailstorm somehow destroyed the entire crop field. Right now, that only energy that he believes in is God. Okay, somehow he have the, that utmost faith in God, and eventually he said that he believes that no one dies of hunger when God is watching. He decides to write a letter to God. Okay, hence the name of the chapter is a letter to God. All right. Now he decides to write a letter to God asking for 100 pesos to resow his fields and support his family. Okay, that is the very question that eventually asked in your previous year question papers. What is the purpose of writing letter to God, and what is the reason behind Rancho writing a letter to God, and he what his desire and what he asked, okay, from God. Okay, okay, clear, clear. Okay, see, the thing is, okay, he decides to write a letter to God, and he asking for 100 pesos to resow his fields and support his family. Okay, eventually this entire line, these two lines, see, whenever you get question to like reflect or to portray Lencho's utmost faith in God, then eventually you have to cite this two line, that the faith that he has, see, that utmost faith, okay, that unshaken, that like that unwavering faith, okay, the unwavering faith that he has, God, that eventually he just wrote a letter to God, okay, describing about his situation. Then again he wants God, okay, he wants God to help him, okay, and he wants God to send him 100 pesos to resow his field again. See, that's the unwavering faith that he has in God. All right. Then see, the next thing is, next eventually how the stories turn. See, as I have mentioned it earlier from the beginning of the class, that we are not going to like line by line kind of explanation. I will show you what is the exact way that you can learn it and the entire chapter, and at the same time I will provide you the specific section from this chapter that you need to remember. Okay, the basic points, that in that way, in point wise, you will learn this chapter effectively. Okay, now see, what is the turning point? Here comes the turning point. See, the postmaster's intervention. Okay, at the post office, a clerk finds the letter addressed to God, okay, and shows it to the postmaster. Initially amused, the postmaster is soon moved by a depth of Lencho's faith. Not wanting to shake that belief, he decides to answer the letter. He collects money from his employees, contributes part of his salary, and asks friends for an act of charity. See, the thing is, at first, when a clerk received the letter and he just handed it over to postmaster, at first they all started laughing. They started laughing that we right now we got a letter and the address is we have to send it to home, post it to whom, like to God. Okay, at first they all started laughing about this letter, but then when the postmaster, the moment he just received the letter and that he just started reading the letter, then he eventually analyzed that utmost, that Lencho's unwavering, he got to know about Lencho's unwavering faith. Okay, somehow he felt pity, or somehow he also became sad, thinking about Lencho's situation. At the same time, he was somehow amused by Lencho's utmost belief in God, by by describing, what to say, by discovering, he was somehow amused to see the Lencho's, amused by Lencho's innocence. Nowadays we don't have persons like this anymore, because Lencho is that innocent that he, wrote a letter to God. All right, somehow, and also he was sad about his condition, and they decided to help Lencho. Okay, postmaster along with his co-workers, they decided to help Lencho. Hence, hence postmaster is soon moved by the depth of Lencho's faith, and not wanting to shake that belief, he decides to answer the letter. He collects money from his employees and contributes part of his salary as well, and asks friends for an act of charity. Got it? Got it. Now see, the thing is, the ironical, here comes the ironical conclusion. From this specific chapter, you get questions to explain the irony. What is the basic irony about this chapter? Here comes the ironic conclusion of this chapter, that is, the postmaster somehow manages to collect 70 pesos. And what was the Lencho's exact amount? It was 100 pesos. Okay, it was 100 pesos, because he asked God how much? How much amount? It was 100 pesos, right? And somehow postmaster along with his co-workers, they somehow able to collect money. And what is the exact amount of money they able to collect? It is 70 pesos. Okay, short of the requested amount. He places it in an envelope signed simply as God. When Lencho receives it, he isn't surprised, okay, showing his absolute certainty. Somehow the postmaster expected that utmost happiness, okay. Somehow he just expected that the moment Lencho, received the letter, he just somehow eager to, somehow he was eager to experience that excitement in his eyes, or eager to somehow experience that happiness, utmost happiness, the moment, how much the I think he may be thinking like, okay, now Lencho will be very happy. Somehow he got a letter, okay, that too as an answer from God itself. So somehow postmaster expected that Lencho will be very happy. But the moment Lencho received the letter, somehow, his reaction was somehow, it's quite normal. Okay, it's quite normal. All right. Hence, see, the thing is, he isn't surprised at all, showing his absolute certainty now, as if he was very sure that God is going to reply him anyway. That eventually reflects and Lencho's unwavering faith. See, the thing is, somehow he just described, okay, he just addressed it to God, then send a letter to that post office. Then eventually, the moment he received the letter, when he just see that thing, like that, the letter is, it's like an answer from God. He was like quite certain about this. Okay, he was quite somehow, okay, that certainty, he was very certain, he was very sure about this, God is going to reply him anyway. That is eventually reflects Lencho's unwavering faith. Got it? Got it? Okay, got it? Okay. Wow, that's very nice. Okay, Manoj said that. Hello, Choco, whoever is come. ओके, आप लोग प्लीज अपना खुद के मतलब एक वेरीफाइड नेम से अकाउंट बनाओ, ठीक है? Someone commented that Manoj Malik, hello ma'am, my English is not that much good, so can you give me some tips to score good in my board? Definitely, I'm going to, because this is a kind of a very like strategy kind of videos, all right? And this class in from this entire board sections, okay. So here I'm going to set you a playlist for this, all right? How you will eventually able to prepare for your boards exam. Okay, you don't have to worry about this, all right? Okay, I will help you. Okay, tell me about the doubt, Manoj. See, the thing is, one thing I want I want to address. Okay, one thing I want to address is those who are quite new to this platform, and those who are watching those, watching video right now, this video right now, somehow they yet to be enrolled in X School, then free videos are available. You can have the demo. And eventually, we provided all the lecture classes on grammar sections, writing skills at the same time, reading comprehension as well. It's a kind of it's a, the videos will be popped up into your feed as a YouTube playlist. It's about the strategy, okay, strategical kind of video, how you eventually have to prepare for your boards exam. All right, so this section is all about that. All right, this segment is all about that. So eventually I can assure that it will help you to preparing for your exam, as I have stated some of the specific thing, that these are the sentences that you can use, okay, you can use while writing your answer. Eventually it will enhances your writing skills. All right, that's what I have stated. All right. So basically, it's up to you. And definitely, if you are liking this video of mine, and definitely if you are liking these English classes, then you can like, share, and subscribe. And because you'll get more videos like this. All right. And those who are already enrolled to X School, okay, they know it better anyway. Okay. Hello, Dave. To get more information about our platform, the description is provided. You can get the Telegram link as well. Okay, Telegram link is provided in the description. Okay, see, the thing is, let's discuss this chapter again. But he becomes angry upon counting the money somehow, because postmaster, with along with his co-worker, able to collected money. That was for, what was the exact amount? It was for 70 pesos, right? But okay, he becomes angry upon counting the money. He immediately writes, okay, Lancho immediately writes a second letter to go. The moment he just received the letter and he just opened the envelope, then he started counting the money, and it was like for 70 pesos. Again he got angry. What was the reason of him being angry? Because somehow he expected God to send him that exact amount of 100 pesos. Okay, okay, exact amount of 100 pesos. So he started accusing the post office employees of stealing the missing 30 pesos, and then again asking God not to send the rest through the mail, because the staff are bunch of crooks. Okay, bunch of crooks. So basically, what do you mean by bunch of crooks? Tell me. What do you mean by bunch of crooks? Tell me. तुमको नहीं पढ़ना है तो मत पढ़ो, ठीक है, आप जाके टीवी देखो जाओ, ठीक है। आपको नहीं पढ़ना है तो दूसरों को मत करो, दूसरों को डिमोटिवेट मत करो, बाकी लोग पढ़ लेंगे, ठीक है। आपको नहीं पढ़ना है तो जाके लाइव स्ट्रीम आप खुद मत पढ़ो, या फिर देखना बंद करो। मुझे जो करना है एज ए टीचर, मैं तो पूरा क्लास खत्म करूंगी, क्योंकि इसके बाद आपके इस 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 चैप्टर से आपको, आप लोगों को कौन सा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, उसके बारे में भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे। एट द सेम टाइम वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द PYQs एज वेल। तो बेसिकली हम लोग उसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है। No, Deep, I'm talking about those who say that this Tanish Kalsi, he say that the for viewers ही तो है एंड कर दो लाइव स्ट्रीम। हम लोग लाइव स्ट्रीम फॉर व्यूअर्स के लिए नहीं है, क्योंकि जिन लोगों को सच में ये दिलचस्पी है कि वो लोग अच्छे से पढ़ने के लिए यहाँ पे है, उन लोगों के लिए हम लोग क्लासेस करवाते हैं, ठीक है। तो इट्स नॉट अबाउट द व्यूज ओनली, ओके। हाँ, तो जो तुम जाओ अच्छे से, तुम अच्छे से पढ़ लो। हम लोग डीप एनालिसिस में बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। तनिष, तुम जाओ, तुम जा सकते हो आराम से, तुम लिव करके खेलना है तो जाओ, खेलो जाओ। हेलो रंजीत। ओके, नाउ तनिष आप बोलिए बंच ऑफ प्रूफ्स का मतलब क्या है, ठीक है, बोलिए आप बोल के जाइए। बंच ऑफ प्रूफ का मतलब क्या है, बोल के जाइए। बोलिए, चलिए तनिषा आप बोल के जाइए। बंच ऑफ ग्रुप्स का मतलब क्या है, बोल के जाइए आप। ओके। येस, येस, येस दीप, येस। That is, তোমালোকে তুমি সুধিছা যে branch of books, yes, someone যাক চোৰ বুলিও কোৱা হয়, at the same time those who are somehow engaged in criminal kind of activities, all right. Yes, those are known as bunch of crooks. So what is the reason him, being calling them, okay, being calling all those postmaster and his, including his employees as bunch of crooks? What's the reason behind this? What's the reason behind this? Why he called postmasters along with his entire group of co-workers as bunch of crooks? Why? Why? Okay, बोलिए, why? What's the reason that लेंचो ने क्या बोला पोस्टमास्टर के और उनके जितने सारे मतलब एम्प्लॉयज हैं उनको बंच ऑफ क्रूक्स बोल के, मतलब उन लोगों ने ऐसे एड्रेस किया है, क्यों? See, the thing is, because somehow he just doubted that, somehow he doubted this, he was somehow asking asking the god the entire amount of 100 pesos, right? But the postmaster along with his co-worker somehow able to collect 70 pesos, okay, and they just wrote a letter as an answer to that Lancho's letter, right? And put that 70 pesos, the amount they just able to collect it, and diamond it was 70 pesos, they collected that money and they just put it in that envelope. Okay, the moment just Lencho received the letter, he did, then he started, the moment he just start opening that envelope, he got 70 pesos, and at that very moment he just got angry because somehow he was asking god that amount of 100 pesos, and he thought that because you send that letter as an answer to my letter, and postmaster along with his staff got that specific amount, and somehow they just collected, somehow whatever happened, that somehow that they somehow stole that money, stole the remaining 30 pesos, right? ठीक है? Okay, then next. See, the thing is now character. Let's dive into the character analysis. So in that way, you will eventually have the clear idea regarding the regarding the characters. Okay. Now the thing is the prototypical peasant. What do you mean by the prototypical peasant? Eventually, you can use this word while writing your use this phrase while writing your question answer. See, he is described as an ox of a man. Okay, he is described as an ox of a man, signifying that his immense physical strength and dedication to manual labor. Okay, Lancho is described as an ox of man. Now, what do you mean by ox of man? That somehow it's signifying that his immense physical strength. This person, this man, Lancho, have that immense strength. All right, immense physical strength and dedication to manual labor. Now, one quality about Lancho is he has somehow that blind faith in God, right? So his spirituality isn't complex or the theological; it is literal. He treats God as a tangible entity. You can use these words. You can use this word while writing your question answers. Eventually, it will enhance your writing skills. Okay, eventually it will enhance your writing skills. All right, got it. See, the thing is his spirituality isn't complex or theological, it is literal. He treats God as a tangible entity who can receive mail and process financial request. All right, financial request. See, the thing, he had that kind of unwavering faith to God, sorry, in God, that he started asking money from God. Okay, he started asking money from God. Now you have to send this amount of money to me again to resolve my field again. Okay, to resolve my field again. Okay, okay. So see, in that way he treats God as a tangible entity who can receive mail. Okay, he thought that God can receive mail. Okay, God can receive mail okay, eventually God will send him the money, the exact amount of money that he was asking from God. Okay, that kind of unwavering faith that he had in God. All right. Then next is naivety. Okay, naivety versus ungratefulness. That is another significant feature about Lencho's character. Okay, if we have to talk about Lencho, what kind of a person he is, first you have to go through these lines. First, he is kind of a very prototypical peasant, and at the same time you have to talk about his blind faith in God. Then after that somehow you have to talk about, all right, somehow you have to talk about the naivety versus, okay, ungratefulness. These are the points. See, the thing is, if you get like 5 marks for, if you get very question like describe Lencho's character for at least 5 marks, do try to add these points. Eventually, your writing skills will be good. Okay. Okay, so that you can add a good answer. Okay, so can you will able to write a good, okay, you'll be able to write a good answer by adding these points. See, the thing is, while his faith is admirable, okay, while his faith is admirable, his inability to recognize human kindness somehow. See, the thing is, he has that utmost faith in God, okay, utmost faith in God, but not in humanity. That's the basic thing that he is lacking. All right. Somehow as a human, okay, যে মই কি কৈছো শুনা, যে মানুহৰ যিকণ কি হয় মানৱীয়তা কোন যে থাকিব পাৰে, সেই কথাটো কোনে পাহৰি গৈছিলে, লেঞ্চই পাহৰি গৈছিলে যে তেওঁক লেঞ্চক কোনে মানুহেও হেল্প কৰিব পাৰে। okay, সেইটো ভাবিবই পাৰে যে পোষ্টমাষ্টাৰ সেই গোটেই লেটাৰখন পোৱাৰ পিছত somehow the moment postmaster ने उस लेटर को जब उनको वो लेटर मिला, वो चाहते थे कि इसको हेल्प किया जाए, ठीक है। और क्या किया उन्होंने कि उनके जितने मतलब को वर्कर्स थे उन्होंने किया, उनसे पैसे इकट्ठे किए ताकि लेंचो को वो लोग हेल्प कर सके। लेकिन लेंचो ने क्या किया इसके बदले में, लेंचो ने क्या किया, लेंचो ने खुद उन्हीं लोगों को किया जिन लोगों ने उनको हेल्प की थी, ठीक है, जिन लोगों ने उनको इतना हेल्प किया, ठीक है। लेंचो को क्या लगा कि यही लोग हैं जो बाकी के अमाउंट खा गए। ओके, बाकी के अमाउंट क्या वो लोग चोरी करके ले गए, ठीक। That's eventually talks about his naivety versus ungratefulness. Okay, the kind of a naive person he is. What kind of a naive person Lancho is? See, the thing is, while his faith is admirable, yes, he has faith in God. That's quite admirable because eventually it reflects that innocent side of Lancho, right? But while his faith is admirable, okay, his inability to recognize, okay, human kindness highlights a narrow worldview. All right, nowadays people just don't believe in human kindness. Okay, okay, human kindness. All right, it highlights a narrow worldview. He is so focused on the divine that he fails to see the divine acting through human hands. This is eventually a help from God, right? Because God is sending someone to help you. Okay, we just get through it. It's not like God is like, if you question me, what, ma'am, what is God according to you? Okay, God is the energy. God is somehow the goodness in people. Okay, God lies in that form. God is in ourselves. Okay, মানুহ কি হয়, ভগৱান কাৰ থাকে, মানুহৰ হৃদয়ত বাস কৰে। তুমি যি কৰা সেইটো তুমি কাৰোবাৰ প্ৰতি ভাল কৰিছা, ভাল কাম কৰিছা, সেইটো গডে হেল্প কৰাৰ নিচিনাই হয়। বুজি পাইছানে? সেইটো গডৰ ফৰ্মত আহে তোমাৰ ওচৰলৈ। বুজি পাইছানে? পাঠ তুমি এতিয়া যে বহুতে কৈ আছে যে আধা ঘণ্টা এইটো পাঠতে শেষ কৰিলে, তোমালোকে একজেক্টলি এই লেচনটোৰ পৰা শিক্ষা কি পাইছা? ঠিক আছে, গড নামৰ স্পিৰিট এটাক বিলিভ কৰি আছে লেঞ্চই, ঠিক আছে। অকে, কিন্তু যে গডৰ ফৰ্মত যে কি হয়, সেই মানুহ কেইজনকে যে গডে পঠাই দিব পাৰে যে হেল্প কৰিবলৈ লেঞ্চক, সেইটো বস্তু কিন্তু চোৱা নাই লেঞ্চই। বুজি পাইছানে? বুজি পাইছানে? বুজি পাইছানে? Okay, that's the exact thing that he wants to talk about. Okay, now see the other things. Okay, the postmaster. Now let's dive into the character of postmaster. What kind of a purpose? You eventually get the question to describe about the character of the postmaster, right? So basically he is the true protagonist of kindness. Okay, if you ask me what the one line, what is the exact one line that you have one line to describe about the postmaster, I'm going to give this line, that is the true protagonist of kindness. Okay, initially a fat amiable fellow, he represents the best of humanity. He is quite empathetic, right? Empathetic means he goes beyond his professional duties to preserve a stranger's hope. और in other case उसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी अगर वो चाहता तो लेंचो को हेल्प नहीं कर सकता था, लेकिन उसने किया। ऑल राइट, उसने किया क्योंकि somehow that's kind of a generous person he is. All right, his kind, eventually it shows his act of kindness, what kind of a kind person he is, such a kind person he is, right? Eventually he is empathetic, that he goes beyond his professional duties. उसका ये professional duty नहीं है कि वो किसी की कोई एक भगवान को एड्रेस करके लेटर लिख रहा है, ठीक है, मैं उनको जाके हेल्प करूं, उसका ड्यूटी नहीं बनता। कौन क्या सोच रहा है, ठीक है, ठीक है, बट उसने ये किया ताकि उनको लगा कि ये इंसान सच में बहुत इनोसेंट है। इसके जो द अमाउंट ऑफ फेथ दैट ही हैड गॉन, लेट्स नॉट ब्रेक इट। उसको ऐसा ही लगा रहे कि हाँ ये तो इसका आंसर जो इन रिटर्न में जो रिप्लाई आएगा, गॉड ने ही लिखा है, गॉड ने ही मुझे मनी भेजा है, तो उन लोगों को क्या था कि उनका हेल्प हो जाए, वेंचो का हेल्प हो जाए। ये उसके प्रोफेशनल ड्यूटी में नहीं आता है, लेकिन he just goes beyond his professional duties to preserve a stranger's hope, right? That's the specific about the postmaster, specific thing about the postmaster's character. All right, now the victim of irony, that is he seeks no credit for it. आजकल के जो लोग होते हैं कि ये कर दिया तुम्हारे लिए मैंने, ये क्या है, ये क्या है, ये क्या है, ये लोग ये सारी बातें क्या लोग जताते रहते हैं, ठीक है, लोग जताते रहते हैं। अगर तुम जता रहे हो तो सच में तुमने ट्रू मीन से किसी को हेल्प नहीं किया है, okay? But in case of that is quite uh, different thing about the postmaster, that is he seeks no credit for it, yet he is the one Lencho, okay, vilifies. His character illustrates that sometimes good deeds go not only, okay, unrewarded but misunderstood. Do remind this factor. What happened that sometimes good deeds go not only unrewarded but misunderstood. कभी क्या होता है, कब आप किसी के लिए अच्छा करने जाते हो, क्या लोग मतलब बुरा मान जाते हैं, है ना, है ना, ओके, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट देखिए, फेट वर्सेस ड्रीमन, दैट इज थीमेटिक एनालिसिस। द स्टोरी आस्क्स वेयर इज द लाइन बिटवीन फेट एंड डिल्यूजन, ओके? Lancho's fate is powerful enough to move humans to action, but it is so rigid that it blinds him to the reality of his situation. Somehow Lancho, yes, that's his faith in God, his faith toward God is quite admirable somehow, but he's so blind, okay, that he somehow won't be, he just couldn't see the uh, act of kindness of human. All right, so somehow his Lancho's faith is powerful enough to move humans to action, but it is so rigid that he had that rigid faith in God that it blinds him to see the reality of his situation. The next one is the irony of human nature. Okay, that's quite important thing that you have to remember. Okay, it's quite important. All right, important. That's quite important. That is, the central irony lies in the conclusion. Okay, in conclusion, you get the central irony of this chapter. Okay, the post office employees who acted as messengers of God, okay, by sacrificing their own money, are labeled crooks by the very man they helped. এই যে আমাৰ অসমীয়া দেখাৰ কথা কয় যে উপকাৰী গজগৰে খোৱা, ঠিক তেনেকুৱা নিচিনা কথা মানে কথা হ'ল, যিয়ে হেল্প কৰিছে, जिसने उनको हेल्प किया उसी को क्या किया, लेंचो ने जाके विलेन बना दिया, वही हुआ, right, वही हुआ, right? That's the same thing, that who acted messengers of God by sacrificing their own money are labeled crooks by the very man they helped. That's the irony of human nature. By this line somehow I'm trying to portray the basic irony of human nature. All right, somehow human beings are always ungrateful to the thing that they have, to the things that they have. All right, okay, so it highlights how humans often misjudge the intentions of others based on incomplete information. Clear? Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you? ठीक है, okay, next see, the thing is, now conflict between man and nature. The story opens with the devastating power of nature, the head. It shows how a farmer's entire existence is at the mercy of elements he cannot control, leading him to seek solace in the supernatural. All right, Then next, literary devices or situational irony. The ending is a classic example of situational irony. Expectation: the reader expects Lencho to be overjoyed and grateful for the money. Reality is, it's like the same expectation versus reality. I mean, the memes bilak pao. We haven't go through the entire links in the sorry, not like a kind of a memes that all the available on internet platforms, that this is the expectation versus reality kind of thing. So expectation was the reader expects Lencho to be overjoyed and grateful for the money. But what's the reality? Reality is Lencho is furious and insults his benefactors. The story leaves us with a bittersweet realization that Lencho's fate is preserved, but at the cost of the reputation of the good people who saved him. Okay? 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 Okay. Now, okay, now let's go through the very important questions. All right, very important questions. Then here are the most important questions categorized by their appearances in previous year exam PYQs and the NCRT textbook. Now I want you to be very, attentive from this part, because in from this section onwards, we are going to discuss about some of the most important question answers about this chapter. All right. Now, what did Lencho hope for? What was the very first question? That is, what did Lencho hope for? All right. Now, answer is Lencho hoped for a good rain, as it was the only thing his ripe cornfields needed for a successful harvest. Remember, from the very beginning of this chapter, I told you that somehow Lencho's entire life, his entire life revolves around his cornfield, right? So he was expecting, he was anticipating rain for his cornfield, right? Okay, now Lencho hoped for a good rain, as it was the only thing that his ripe cornfields needed for a successful harvest, right? Successful harvest. He especially referred to the raindrops as new coins, because a good crop meant proper prosperity, right? He considered those raindrops as a new coins, okay, as a new coins, right? As a new coins, right? As a new coins, right? Then next one is, why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? This is very important question. Do jot it down. Okay, another important question. Another important question. See, Lencho compared the raindrops to coins because his crops were ready for harvest. Because his crops were ready for harvest. He believed the rain would ensure a bountiful crop, which when sold would bring in money. He called the big drops as 10-cent pieces and the little ones as the fives. Okay, okay, okay. Here from this part आपको और एक सवाल मिल सकता है कि उसने लेंचो ने क्या, जितने छोटे छोटे जो बड़े बड़े ड्रॉप्स थे, जो बड़े बड़े रेन के जो बड़े बड़े ड्रॉप्स थे, उसको क्या करके एड्रेस किया था, और जो छोटे छोटे ड्रॉप्स थे, बारिश के जो छोटे छोटे बूंदे थे, उसको मतलब क्या बोल के एड्रेस किया था. Okay, you may get this very question. So he called the big drops 10-cent pieces and the little ones as a fives. Okay, little ones as a fives. Okay, clear? Little ones as a five. Clear? Clear? Is it clear for you? Okay. Then next one, that is, how did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's? What happened to Lencho's fields? See, suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, he was anticipating rain. Lencho was anticipating rain, but suddenly a strong wind began to blow. बहुत जोर से बारिश आने लगा, ठीक है? मतलब suddenly बहुत जोर से बारिश आने लगा, तो क्या हुआ? Began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. The hailstorm lasted for an hour, covering the entire valley in white, as if covered with salt. Every leaf was destroyed. Okay, every leaf was destroyed, and the corn was totally ruined. Corn was totally ruined. Okay, and the corn was totally ruined. क्या हुआ? बहुत जोर से बारिश आने लगा, hailstorm start हो गया, ठीक है? Hailstorm started and it destroyed his entire crop. All right, entire crop field, right? Then who or what did Lencho have faith in? What did he do? Lencho को किसके ऊपर बहुत भरोसा था, and what did he do? All right, Lencho had deep, unwavering faith in God. He believed that God's eyes see everything. He believed that God's eyes की भगवान को सब दिखाई देता है, ठीक है? So God's eyes see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Okay. Hence he wrote a letter to God requesting 100 pesos to resow his field and live until the next crop. The moment his entire crop field got destroyed. Okay, that's the exact moment that he started thinking now how he is going to survive. Now how he is going to look after his family. His entire family going to starve right now. At that very moment, somehow he had that utmost faith in unwavering. Lencho had that deep unwavering faith in God, and he started writing a letter addressing it to God that God, please send me that 100 pesos to resow my field again. All right, got it, got it. Sorry, got it. ठीक है. Next. Then another one is most important questions that is based on PYQs, that is short answer type 2 for 2 to 3 marks. Why did the postmaster send money to Lencho? Why did he sign the letter to God? Okay, important questions based on the PYQs. What is the exact important factor? What is the reason behind postmaster sent money to Lencho? Why did he sign the letter to as God? The postmaster was moved by Lencho's complete faith. Somehow that postmaster was very generous and he was very kind. All right. And so amused by his innocence, somehow he just, tried to help Lencho. Okay. So the postmaster was moved by Lencho's complete faith. He didn't want to shake that faith. Okay. He signed it God to maintain the illusion that the money had actually come from the Almighty. Do remember this factor. You can add this line while writing answer for this question. Somehow why he signed it as God, that's the reason behind it. He signed it God to maintain the illusion that the money had actually come from the Almighty, ensuring Lencho's belief remained intact. Okay, remained intact. All right. The next question, that is, was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? Was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? क्या Lencho शॉक में था कि हाँ मुझे ये मिल गया है? वो बहुत सरप्राइज हो गया, उसको बहुत अच्छा लगा. उसका रिएक्शन क्या था? So basically they are asking you about what is the reaction of Lencho after receiving the letter as an answer from his previous letter. Okay, now, no, Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence, because he was too certain that God will eventually, help him. God will send him. Somehow he was too certain that God will eventually send him. God will, send him the money. Okay. So, however, he became angry when he counted the money and found only 70 pesos, believing God could not have made a mistake. Hence, he thought that the remaining amount of money somehow stolen by the post workers. Okay, I mean postmasters along with his co-workers. Now, what are the two types of conflicts in this story? So, first one is conflict between man and nature, that is represented by the hailstorm destroying Lencho's hard work. So, you cannot see that nature is quite unpredictable, right? Nature is quite unpredictable. So, you cannot predict, okay? Somehow, see, the thing is, the moment you just step up from your house, the day may be so sunny. Okay, now the day is so good, it's such a sunny day, but eventually after maybe within an hour, okay, the rain may come. Alright, that's the thing. যে ঘৰৰ পৰা ওলাওতে ভাবিছা যে আজিটো ইমান ধুনীয়া বতৰটো ছাতি লৈ নাযাও, কিন্তু অলপ পিছতে চাবা 1 ঘণ্টাতে বৰষুণ পৰিছে, গোটেইখন ডুবাই পেলাইছে. তেনেকুৱা হয় বহুত, হয়নে? তেনেকুৱা হয়. হয়নে? গতিকে চাবা তোমালোকে সেইটো বস্তু. Okay, এই কথাটোকে দুটা conflictত you may get this question that what are the two types of conflicts in the story, that is the conflict between first man and nature represented by the hailstorm destroying Lencho's hard work, then conflict between humans that is represented by Lencho's distrust of the post office employees who actually helped him. Okay, উপকাৰী গজগৰে খাই বুলি কয় যে, ঠিক তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথা. Next, the thing is now long answer type questions that will be for 5 marks. Humanity still exists. Explain this with reference to a letter to God. Okay, now you have to explain this this sentence with reference to a letter to God. See, the story proves that humanity survives through the postmaster. All right, because see, humanity still exists, and we can get the example. Uh, we have this very example of the generous act of postmaster and his co-workers, right? The moment they just received Lencho's letter, somehow they amused by Lencho's innocence, and they decided to help Lencho, right? This is such a generous act. Okay, hence the story proves that humanity survives through the postmaster and his colleagues. Even though they didn't know Lencho, they contributed part of their salaries and acts of charity to help a man in distress. They expected no credit or thanks. Ironically, while the divine God didn't literally send money, humanity acted as the medium for God's help, even if the recipient, that is Lencho, failed to recognize it. Failed to recognize it. Okay, failed to recognize it. Okay, বুজি পাইছানে? বুজি পাইছানে? Next. Next one is character sketch of Lencho. Again, you may get this very question for 5 marks as I have mentioned it earlier, such as Lencho is a simple hardworking farmer, often described as an ox of a man. Now, what do you mean by ox of a man? Okay, he somehow is deeply it's not the meaning of deeply religious. He's like quite stubborn, not stubborn exactly. He's that like he's very dedicated to his work, right? He's dedicated to his work, and he have that immense of physical strength, right? Hence, Lencho is a simple, hardworking farmer, often described as an ox of a man. He is deeply religious but possesses a very literal and naive understanding of God. He is determined and optimistic initially, but his limited perspective makes him suspicious of fellow humans, leading him to call the post office staff a bunch of crooks. Somehow, he cannot he couldn't even think that is the act of kindness from postmaster along with his co-workers that they decided to help him, but somehow he couldn't recognize it, and at the somehow instead of being very grateful to them, he somehow end up calling them as a bunch of crooks. Okay, he somehow didn't believe in humanity, I guess so. Okay, he had faith in God, but somehow he is optimistic about. But see, the thing is, somehow he cannot even digest that factor. He couldn't even digest that factor. Is the form of it's just the amount of money that he's received. He received that help of God in the form of humanity. Okay, that help, the amount of money that he got. Okay, the amount of money that he got, okay, as a help of as a help from God itself. Okay, somehow he forgot to consider it, that he somehow forgot to acknowledge it at the same time. Okay, he forgot to acknowledge it at the same time, and also somehow that's he the health amount of health that he is receiving is it's an act of humanity. Okay, it's an act of humanity which he receives as an act of God. Okay, as an act of God. But see, the thing is, he had that blind belief, right? He had that blind belief, right? Okay. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, and he end up just addressing those post office staff as a bunch of crooks. Okay, instead of acknowledging them, instead of be grateful to them, he remained being ungrateful. All right, he remained being ungrateful. All right, so that's all about the a letter to God. So basically, as I have mentioned from the very beginning of the class, that we are not going through the line to line analysis, but definitely I am going to provide you the what are the specific things that you have to remember from this entire chapter, and at the same time in this class, we also discussed about some of the important question answers from this specific chapters and along with the PYQs as well. I hope this video will help you to have a deeper analysis of this chapter, as many of the commented that it's like a just 30 minutes of chapters, but ma'am is dragging it too much. But the thing is, the why I'm it's not like the dragging it too much, but I want you to have the deeper analysis. All right, I want you to have the deeper analysis of this chapter, so that when the moment you just have the deeper analysis of the chapter, you will clearly have the basic idea, clearly have the very basic visuals what you should write in your exam papers. Not by, there are some of the students I know who are commenting, some of the who gave us, who continuously, who rigorously, writing those negative comments. I know that they just started, they eventually by heart all those question answers and started, they will eventually write those question answers. But the moment you have the deep analysis of this chapter, you will get those questions, and you will get it by your own, and you are eventually going to write the good question answers. Okay, that will be two in standard format. Okay, the moment you have the deeper analysis of this specific chapter. Okay, this will help you to score good marks. It's not about writing the same question answers, it's not about the recalling all those what to say, that traditional question answers and all those stuffs. It's about what are the basic things, but it's about the discovering. It's about try to improvising. Okay, it's about try to improvising your answers, and through deeper analysis of this chapter, eventually you will get to learn this. All right, so again we will meet you in another class. All right, I hope this video is quite helpful to you. All right, again, give me negative comments or not, it's up to you. I'm going to provide my duty anyway. I'm going to do my duty, and it's my duty to educate you. It's my duty to you know take your classes. All right, and I will be loyal to it. All right, okay, with this note, uh, I'm going to end this class. Bye bye, thank you and take care.